Alrighty, fanboys and fangirls, on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. We've got tons of more information that you need to know about this upcoming model, and I am here to break down that info. Also on today's episode, we have a ton of Apple news, and we're going to start with the new 27-inch iMac after the success of the M1 Pro and M1 Max MacBooks, which is kind of weird to say, back and forth. They should have just called it the Pro Max, but anyway. Seems Apple will be working on a refreshed 27-inch iMac according to several analysts. And lastly, you have an update on the MacBook Air with the M2 chip and also some things coming later that year. All that on today's episode, so stay tuned. So story number one, the main story, let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Now, I've been covering this phone for a little under 2 months, and I have actually enjoyed covering it because the more we hear about it, the more it is bringing back the Note series reincarnated. Because I think we can all agree that when it came to capability, when it came to a smartphone that was a Swiss Army knife and did everything you needed, the Note series was that go-to. And a lot of people miss having a stylus, so it only made sense for Samsung to bring it back. Well, according to several analysts, we do have some new updates on the Ultra edition of the S22. According to them, we have seen that there are dummy units that were created mostly for case makers, and in one of the case makers from a Chinese site, Weibo, we can see that even though, again, take this with a grain of salt, if this is true, looking at the screen protector, of course we do expect the Note design back, but we also see the cameras. Now take a close look at the camera cutouts for the case. Now normally camera cutouts have a bump or protective covering to help kind of, how would you say, protect the camera housing. Well, this one is very, very flushed, and rumors are speculating that not only will Samsung eliminate the bump, but that it will be using just single lenses in the back of the phone. Now taking a look at several renders and ideas, this could work. It does look a little but it could work. Now I know a lot of people do not like the camera bump, as a lot of people have said that it is just really weird when you put it on a table, and it just, I never really cared. I mean, listen, my phone's in my pocket. If I put it on the table, I just put it on the table. I never really cared about a camera bump. But I will not lie to you that I do miss having a flush design phone where the cameras don't stick out in the back. And I will not lie to you, the last time that I've seen that was on the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 4s. So it would be nice to have a nice flush system back, but a lot of people are a little bit concerned with durability and other term effects. So we don't really know about that, but that's one thing that Samsung seems to be eliminating. On top of that, along with this new camera system, we can also see that the S22 Ultra is going to be housing not only a triple camera setup, but now a 5-lens setup. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the point where phones have 5 and probably 10 cameras on a phone. How many more lenses do we need? I mean, I don't know. But according to the rumors, it seems that there is going to be the triple camera, the main triple setup. Of course, you're going to have the POS. And then, of course, there is an extra lens in there. We don't know much about this one, so I will have to keep up to date if we hear any more rumors coming about that. But taking a look at the rumors, taking a look at everything that we're hearing about the Note series being reincarnated in the S22 Ultra, I think it's safe to say that Samsung is going to answer to the Google Pixel 6 Pro, because the Pixel 6 Pro has really rejuvenated smartphones for flagships and Android. The 10-year chip, the camera system, everything. So Samsung has to make a huge home run, and I think that that's exactly what they're going to do with this model. With everything that I've said, and now looking at this new layout, we're in for a surprise, people. So I will keep you guys up to date, and I'll let you know more as we get closer and closer to Samsung's Galaxy series unveiling. Alrighty, story number 2. Now let's switch over to Apple and let's talk about the Macs. Now the Macs have had a huge resurgence in sales, in models, in consumer wants and demands. The Macs are everywhere, from productivity to taking it on the go to working at home, everything. The MacBook has become the pinnacle of Apple computers, and they are back at the threshold where they need to be. And one of their most popular models just recently got updated, the MacBook Pro, with the ugly notch, which I will not talk about ever again. But regardless of that, the M1 Pro and the M1 Max chipsets are phenomenal. The benchmarks are out, the thing looks great. And Apple is going to continue that momentum because according to several analysts, including an analyst from Ross Young, he claims that Apple is working on the 27-inch iMac refresh. Now we know Apple has a 24-inch model that replaced the 21-inch, so this is going to now be the big bad boy that everybody wants. But with Apple's current design team, I'm starting to wonder if they even know how to design right. I don't know, I just don't think their products look that good in comparison to the old. I'm sorry. But anyway, according to the rumor, we can expect a mini LED display with XDR technology, which is what Apple's been using for the last several years in the MacBooks, the iPad Pro, and now in the MacBook Pro. Also, we can expect the M1 Pro. There is no word if they're going to use the M1X Max. I'm calling it the M1X because honestly, M1 Max is just, there's an X at the bottom. So the Pro and the Max. So it seems that the Pro chip is going to be in that specific model. As for the 24-inch, there is no word if it's going to get a CPU refresh with the M2 or the M1 Pro or Max, depending on what Apple positions it, because then you're talking pro-grade CPU. So we'll have to wait and see on that, but the 27-inch is also rumored to have the biggest upgrade in their display technology with 120 Hz and ProMotion as well. Now, we've been hearing for a while about the 27-inch model, so I think it's safe to say that Apple is going to make that the big bad boy. Remember the iMac Pro? That's the 27-inch model. That's really what it's going to be. And the last story, the final one, we have more updates on the MacBook Air 2022 model. According to several users, after the huge success of the MacBook Pro ports, it seems that Apple is going to continue that trend with the MacBook Air. According to the reports, the M2 MacBook Air is going to have MagSafe, several additional ports, and that's really about it. Just kidding, there's more. Basically, it's going to have an upgraded 1080p display camera. It will have, of course, MagSafe and the new M2 chip. The M2 chip is set to debut in the MacBook Air. It seems that Apple is going to position the Pro computers to have the Pro and Max, the M2. As for the Mac Mini, which is also discussed in this article, we don't have an official idea if Apple's going to make that a Pro-like machine or if they're going to have that to replace the Intel machine. Nobody knows, but what we do know is that Apple is using their standard M series chips as entry level, and then they will spec it out with the GPU. So the MacBook Air M2 is going to have that new additional chip, and it's going to be a lot more of a powerhouse than the M1 version. But honestly, looking at Apple's chipsets, they're really gonna obliterate performance. Despite my liking with their not liking design, and despite me having an issue with all of their designs for the Mac so far, because honestly, they really don't look that great, and I'm just being honest. I think the 2017 models look a lot better, but I don't care about the thickness or whatever. I can't deny the hardware is there. Apple's hardware is exactly there. They have the performance, they have the speeds, they have the OS, they basically have a control over everything, and everything just works really well. So it seems that Apple has really done it with the Mac. So I can't sit here and say it's bad, but good job, Apple. Good job. And that's it for today's episode of Technoid. Now, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button. If you disliked the video, you can hit the dislike button to help circulate my videos as well. As always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care, stay safe, have a good day, and peace!